One Piece Chapter 1172 Speedrun, let's get it. Starting off with Bon Clay on panel for the first time in 14 years. That's right, last time we saw him was in Chapter 666 when we found out that he took over for Iva in Impel Down. This is a heavy exposition chapter with Gabon starting off by telling Hadradin and the rest of them what the hell is going on. Long story short, there are 3 people attacking Elbaf right now. Their goal is to abduct 10 children and take them back to the Holy Land and use them as hostages. Basically to force the Giants to be on the world government's side. One of them is Gunko with her arrow fruit, which obviously can force the kids to walk in the direction they want. There's Sommers with his thorn fruit, which not only could injure the kids if they walk into each other, but also injure people trying to stop them. And then lastly, we have Killingham bringing all the nightmares to life. I love the statement here, as the irony is the children are simply walking in a line in broad daylight, and they can still do nothing about it. Once they make it to the surface, Hadradin realizes it's bad, it's really bad. They even notice that Dory and Broggy's ship has gone down, and Kashi goes on to explain the situation to Hadradin. He says that Dory and Broggy are on their way to kill Ya-Rule. When asking about the children, he's told that Ripley has a group on the way to try to save them. They should be at the port already. When Roto finds out that Bjorn's there, he also joins the fray, along with Gerd and the guy who slurs a lot. Sanji asks where Nami is and finds out that they're over near the burning school, and Zoro takes note that Dory and Broggy has gone mad. Then we get this amazing display just to show us where everybody is, and all of it is pretty much taking place on one branch, Route 8 specifically. To give you a quick breakdown, obviously the school and the library that are on fire are the far right X. Next to that we have Saul. Moving a little bit more forward on this X, that's where the other Straw Hats are, Jinbei, Nami, Robin, and Usopp. But one of them is missing. Brook has ran off because he got some kind of crazy idea in his head. And you know it's got something to do with Gunko. Right here in the middle is where Dory and Broggy are on their way to Ya-Rule. Obviously this right here is the kids on their way to the port. If we go above that, this is where Gabon, Hadradin, and the rest of them just appeared from the lift. And then lastly, of course, the castle at the far left. We get a scene right here of some giants telling Ya-Rule he should run, and he says, no, I got something to say. And with a nice click, he starts spilling all the tea on what happened to Harold. He explains to all of Elbaf that Harold was betrayed by the world government, and eventually he was slaughtered by a demon. He goes on to say that he kept the truth from Elbaf because he didn't want them to go down a path of revenge. To continue honoring the legacy of King Harold, Loki chose to bear that burden. But he goes on to say, Loki is innocent. Let's go. He starts to direct the next bit of this message to the demons themselves, saying if you leave the children, then you can have our culture and our history. But don't think you've broken our spirit. Do not expect Harold's patience from us. Bar. He goes on to say if the world ends up being split in two the way the Harley says, then Elbaf shall be an enemy to the world government. And then to all the giants of Elbaf, he says protect the peace that Harold envisioned. We see Hadradin catching up to Dory and Broggy, and Zoro says that he's got a plan. And that wraps up another fantastic chapter of One Piece. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. And come join the streams every Sunday.